Good morning, Manayunk, and welcome to another episode of Manayunk Mornings at Home. Joining me on the show today is Allie from Never Give Up Training. Allie, how you doing today?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. So, Allie, I start off all these interviews with asking you, what was your first reaction when all this went down back in March?
What the heck is happening? Who knew it would last 4 months at this point? It was crazy. And first was panic, of course, like every other business owner in person, really. And the second was, after a glass of wine, I sat down and said, we got to take this online. I need to offer our community and Manayunk and all of our hardworking members what they're paying for and what they come to us for. And the next day, I was in my living room teaching virtual classes, and that transpired into doing it in my basement. I made a whole studio and everything. It was crazy. It was a whirlwind for sure.
How many classes did you start out doing? Were you just doing one a day? Did you do multiple times a day? What was your schedule like?
We kept our schedule that we had in the studio for the first week. The most simple way for me to do it, mentally speaking, to get our act together and figure out what was happening, was just to literally do the same schedule, just online. And then we realized simply that wasn't necessary. And then we ended up doing 2 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night, and then a noon class about every other day.
And was it the same kind of class or different types of classes that you'd offer?
The same kind of class, especially in the beginning. It was 50% cardio, 50% strength training, mostly body weight. And then as we kind of went through the COVID experience, we did some express classes, some ab classes, just kind of played around with a little bit. We got a lot of feedback along the way from our members and through social media and emails and whatnot, and just chameleoned it. We were a chameleon to what people wanted. And it kind of transformed into this 4-month mess.
It's a great way of explaining it. What was the greatest challenge? I know there's a lot of challenges with, transpiring something from in-person to online. What was your greatest challenge?
It wasn't necessarily a physical challenge to be able to do that, because myself and our trainers, we got that covered. It was more just my anxiety about that, and making sure everyone was happy. And then I think just the 24/7 worry of, when is this going to be over? Will my business survive? I think that was just the biggest challenge overall. It's more mental than anything else.
It's not an easy time to be a small business owner, and I can only imagine. So as things slowly began to reopen, you guys started moving to outdoor classes, right?
Yeah, when Philly entered yellow, we waited a couple weeks, felt it out a little bit. Again, got feedback from our members whether they would be interested in it. And we took it outside, and it has honestly been phenomenal. We have gotten such amazing attendance, feedback. The energy is back. It's so good seeing everyone's face again. It's just a reunion, and it's so much fun.
Work your way back into the actual studio itself for indoor training?
Yes, we are actually going to open our doors on Tuesday, August 3rd, and very, very limited. We're going to do 2 classes next week, and myself and my 2 head trainers are the only ones going to be teaching for the time being, and just ease into it. 6 people max, and we have, you might be able to see them in the background, social distancing pods where people are more than 6 feet apart, masks the whole time, all of that. So we're going to enter that new normal on Tuesday, but outdoor classes will still take priority.
And are there any other differences that your clients can expect as they enter the building for the first time?
Yeah, they will, of course, stay socially distanced. They will have to wear masks while working out, and that's one of the big reasons why we are doing a limited schedule. There'll be no cardio inside, and if so, very limited. It's just not comfortable. It's really hard. Temperature checks, sanitizing the second you walk in. Again, the pods, they're going to be standing in these circles, and each circle has their own set of weights, and they will be the only ones touching those weights the entire time. We have an electrostatic sprayer that United Airlines uses on their airplanes for sanitization for before and after they leave. And it's going to be a lot different, but at least we're together, and at least they can come in and we can see those faces finally.
Exactly. Well, enough about the business. I want to ask about you. What have you been up to in your personal life in the last 4 months? Have you been taking up any new hobbies, cooking? Have you been ordering out a lot? What have you been up to?
Chasing after my 2 kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and them during COVID has been an adventure in itself and exhausting. But other than that, I think my priorities just changed a little bit. Once I realized the business would be okay, thankful for the community on that front, I was able to spend a lot more time with my kids. And I know it's like the silver lining every mother is saying, but it's really true. I'm used to very early mornings and late nights, and I'm back doing that now. But during quarantine, in the beginning especially, it was nice being home every morning to see them at breakfast and at dinner, and my husband too. And hobbies, I took up drawing. I'm horrible at it, but now I fiddle around with it. It's a nice stress reliever. Some doodling or some coloring. So bad, but it works. But no, I always cook. I love to cook, so that's nothing new.
That's great. Was there any tips or advice for your clients, as they were in quarantine, how to live a healthy life despite being locked in between 4 walls?
Well, working out, obviously, endorphins. I preach it because it's what I do, but I also truly believe it also. If I don't work out for a day, I go mentally crazy. So people in quarantine, I always said, just move. You don't have to do one of my workouts. You don't have to sweat. Just go for a walk, do something. And then second, it's balance. People were beating themselves up about, oh, I ate this, or I'm drinking too much, or whatever it may be. And it's balance. Go easy on yourself. That was my biggest tip I think I gave all my clients was, look at what's happening here. Pick your battles, go easy on yourself, be kind to yourself, and find a silver lining in every single day. One silver lining at least every single day. And that seemed to help myself and friends and family and clients.
How did you personally stay positive through this whole thing? I can only imagine, what you were going through at the time, but what kept you motivated and kept you going each day, day in and day out?
The NGU community, just making sure I was there for them. I didn't want to let anyone down. And my husband, he really just took control of what I couldn't control myself or couldn't do everything at once. And he just constantly reminded me to breathe. I can't control the uncontrollable. So if X happens or this happens or whatever, I can't control it anyway. So take a deep breath, do what I can do, but it is what it is. And so I think just reminding myself of that over time, I finally started to believe it. And just took a deep breath, and again, we are fine. NGU is fine, and it's because of the community. So I'm thankful that I hustled, and I'm also thankful that my husband brought me down to earth every single hour of every day.
So I know it's hard to kind of predict the future, but in your eyes right now, what do you think is next for NGU?
Oh man, from a COVID standpoint, I have no idea. It just goes back and forth. We're opening our doors on Tuesday. Classes will be added as the weeks go on, if all goes well. And I'm hopeful in September or in the fall, or maybe even after the holidays. It depends if it spikes again, but maybe after the holidays, we can start seeing a more full schedule inside. But I mean, right now we're just taking it day by day and just going with it, being safe with it. Safety is obviously the most important thing. So I don't want to rush into anything or make any assumptions or plan anything, because we did that. We planned to open and we got that pulled out from under us. So I learned the hard way. We're just going to step by step.
That's a good mentality to go through all this, just taking it one day at a time. Before I wrap things up, I got to ask you, I've been asking everyone, what do you love the most about having your business here in Manayunk?
Manayunk is, I keep saying this word over and over again during this interview, a community. Now more than ever, I have seen hundreds of fitness studios and small businesses in general shut down because of COVID. And yes, it has, and unfortunately probably will happen to other businesses here. But because I always say, I'm so lucky to have a studio in Manayunk, because if I was in Center City or if I was any other city, it may not have happened. We're just lucky. Manayunk is so supportive, and we have each other to really boost each other up and make sure we survive. We do everything we can to help one another. Business owners, I've connected with business owners that I haven't talked to ever or in years, and it's really quite phenomenal and incredible what kind of community Manayunk is and always has been, but has become through COVID even more.
Well, there's definitely unity and community down here. If you said it best yourself. But Allie, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much.
I wish you the best of luck as we enter, this greenish phase that we're entering. I don't even know what it is anymore, but I hope to see you down on Main Street soon.
Thank you. You too. Have a great day.
Be safe. Well, that's our show for today. It was great catching up with Allie from Never Give Up. If you love this show, hit like, comment on this post, share this video. If you're on our YouTube page, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to watch the last episode, just click right here. It's that easy.